Let me show you more tips and tricks on how I use Cursor as my personal super agent. I found a new company in my space. It's called something like Icon AI or icon.com. Do a research on that using our process and create the right file in the right folder. While it's doing its magic, let me unpack what's going on here. So first of all, it obviously can use web search, so I don't need to be like really exact uh, things. It will just Google things that are not there are ambiguous. Um, the other thing is I have these rules files here, and I've described this special process. So when I asked to research a competitor or just company in the space, it will analyze product pages, pricing pages, find founders and their backgrounds, press releases, announcements about funding and rounds, their G2 Capterra reviews, case studies on their website and outside of their website, claims about their performance and impact on customers' business, testimonials, partnerships, and so on. It will check founders' links, LinkedIn, and things like that. So initially, I just asked it to do research for me, and I noticed that that was pretty shallow. So I just asked it, like Cursor, hey, can you add, um, can you research more? Check this and that. And then I asked it, okay, can you save that as rules? So next time I ask you something about um, company research, you follow these steps and not miss anything. And also we have like company file names and classification of different companies. It's already creating a file. We'll open it in a minute. Yeah, we can literally see it writing this file here. Let's check. Here is my competitors folder, and here is this new file. So everything is green. It means it was changed, or in this case, it was written from scratch. And I can open preview, and voila, it's a formatted text with headlines and everything. Uh, yeah, this is pretty much exactly what was I expected. But take a look here. It's not just created this one file. It also suggested to add this company to our overview file with key points, differentiation, key learnings, and everything. I could ask it myself, or it just pick it up from rules from the process that every time we update something about our competitors, it should also update the competitor overview. Another important thing is people who start using Cursor, they notice that most of the models, especially Claude Sonnet model, they tend to create too many files and write too many text. And I don't like that. I want it to be as precise as possible. So the first thing is I can just change the model and ask another model. Actually, let's give it a try. I change it to GPT-5 and say, um, hey GPT, can you research Icon AI? It should be like icon.com or something like that, using our process and create a separate file instead of existing one, um, just to double check the results. So not only I have one model, I actually have like a dozen of different models. And if I don't like the output of the default model, I can change them or use different models for different purposes. Yeah, and it will do its research and show the different results. I'll pause it for now, but I think you get the idea. Uh, let's switch to Sonnet. For now, I use it as my main model. And so there was this problem with duplicated files and everything. Instead of using other model, I still want to use Sonnet, but I wanted to follow my rules. And after like many iterations, I've found what exactly should we tell to our model so it follow the yeah. So here is this part. Core rule: every statement must be clear with a traceable source. So once we come up with a new statement somewhere in our docs, agent should mark it as a canonical version, like that. And if it's reusing this information somewhere else, it should make a reference to the original file, like with competitors, where the original research is the original file, and then overview is just a compilation of those results of the researchers. So it has links to the original files. And same with the executive summary and with README files and so I also ask it to, if it reuses some definitions like our ICP or goals or metrics, to use exactly the same phrasing across different documents. And if it adapts it for the context, it should mark it as adapted version. And basically then I ask it to never do anything without a reference. Is it an original statement or is it a reference to something else? So if I download it from somewhere, then this is where it got it, from a file, from Notion, from HubSpot, from Google Drive, from the website, and so on. Same thing with sources. If it doesn't have a source for some kind of information, it shouldn't use it. When I asked it to generate a product description for the first time, it basically came up with everything and the business model and pricing and just imagined it. But later I replaced it with the accurate information and added these rules. So now it never write anything without my permission or without the source. So this is how we fix hallucination thing. And this also illustrates another flow. So when we start working with the cursor and we see that it didn't do what we expected it to do, we can just immediately ask it like, hey, let's update the rules to add this thing. And if the rules itself they become like too overblown and too many things here, we can say, okay, read this cursor rules and restructure them for me in this way or that way. Yeah, and this illustrates the point. Once you have this super agent, you can do basically anything with it, including improvements of those rules for the agent itself. Next thing, let me show you actually how easy it is to start using Cursor. I'll close this for now. And this is how it works. So you go to cursor.com and download a version for Mac or Windows and just go through the setup process. Then you download WhisperFlow. This is the website, and go through its process, or Mac Whisper. Like for MacBooks, for macOS, I prefer this version because it does the transcripts locally without sending my data anywhere. But for Windows, WhisperFlows works fine. So I've created this repository, basically a collection of files with the README, with rules, with examples. So you don't have to start from scratch. And it's also an illustration of how the cursor works. So, okay, once you open the cursor for the first time, it will suggest you to open the folder. So you literally create a new folder, like test cursor folder. Open, and you have a fresh cursor project. There are no files here yet, nothing is opened, but you have a chat. And what you do with this, and you say, hey cursor, can you download this thing so I don't have to start from scratch? And I give it a link to this example I've prepared for you. And it will guide you through the next steps. So it saw that it's a GitHub. It's connected to the GitHub. It's downloaded the files. They're here. You can open them. You can open it in preview to have it structured, and you can use it from like how long did it take? Like 5 minutes? Not even 5 minutes. It's just a couple of minutes. The only thing we should actually do this is so there's a folder inside the folder, and it's better to do like this: open folder, like our cursor test folder, and this personal super agent. So now it's just super agent folder, and the cursor rules is here on the first level of the folder. And now this is what our cursor will use. Let me show you a couple of more examples. Anytime you have a question how to do anything, you can just ask your cursor, because it's an LLM and it has search. So let's say, hey, how do I connect to HubSpot from cursor? It suggests to connect via API, some kind of code, access tokens. Hey, this sounds too technical. I'm not a technical person. Can you just give me some options? And then I'll ask you to implement it. So it suggested an expert version. We don't like that. API version, that's our choice. Zapier make, probably not this time. And you know what? Let's ask something else. So I've heard that HubSpot do have MCP servers to connect from agents to HubSpot. Do you know something about that? So this MCP thing is the optimal way to connect to different external services. It can write scripts and use API, but HubSpot is a direct connection to the agent, and it gives us a step-by-step guide. Before I go there, can you actually check real users' experiences with HubSpot MCP? Did it work? Did they solve their use cases? Did they have any large-scale problems? And this is another common use case, to ask it to find real users' experiences. Instead of searching for the web, instead of on top of reading the documentation and everything that's written on the internet, we basically always want to ground into the real user experience. So it will search Reddit, it will search GitHub, and real people will tell their experience, and we can use it with just one prompt. It says that use cases are limited, but there are positive reviews from individual people, but it's a new technology, and it recommends to use their direct API connection. That's actually similar to my current experience. I use MCP servers to connect to my Google Docs and Google Sheets, but other than that, I just ask my cursor to create an API connection, a script. Let's give it a try. Yeah, let's go the scripts and API road. Can you write a simple script that will download deals and their current status from HubSpot? Yeah, but this is where we're getting into the vibe code territory. It might or might not work from the first time. Um, So if you're curious, I encourage you to experiment with vibe coding and creating connections like that. But if you're not, um, then you could use existing MCP servers or existing connectors, open source things. All of that you can find with Cursor itself. Just ask it to find existing implementations and don't write code yourself. Don't start from scratch. Um, yeah, it's already doing something. We don't want to go there this time. Maybe next time. Um, so just to wrap things up, I saw people doing budgeting and transaction analysis. So just download the whole um, credit card statement and analyze it with AI. Or what I do personally is manage my medical records, like analysis and trends and reports and stuff. So next time I have a question, I have everything here and I can give this context to my AIs or my doctors. And same thing with like personal project, learning project. But obviously, most of the time I work with my company files, and this is where I spend most of the time. I encourage you to try this. It's extremely easy to start, download, start playing with it, and see where it goes.